Anton Semenyo is in high demand, and it's not hard to see why. One of the best wingers the league has to offer is likely on the move this January transfer window. And guys, we're going to take a look into him as a player and where we think he should go. Starting off, he's 25 right now, I think entering into his prime. He's a player that I rate very, very highly, sitting at around 6 foot tall. He possesses the pace and power on the wing that is unique in nature, and I think can really devastate a number of teams. And he's shown it before in the past, and we'll take a look at some of his performances this season and also in the previous season as well. Again, he has that pace and power that is so dynamic, so dangerous. He's on the left wing, but predominantly cutting in on the right, and that right foot is dangerous. And again, it shows his technical ability, but not only his technical ability, he's a player that works very, very hard. If you've studied him, if you've looked into him, you can see how much effort he puts into his finishing, and that finishing has consistently paid off in the Premier League. He's someone who's come up the ranks in terms of the English pyramid, and now he sits himself in the top, looking to move to some of the biggest teams in the league, whether that's Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and less likely probably Arsenal. But we'll take a look into all of those options and see where he should go. So this season, he has 8 goals, 3 assists. I believe only one of those goals is a penalty, and he has scored pretty well against some of the best opposition in the league. Starting off in the season, 2 goals against Liverpool, which really put him on the map. The 2 goals against Liverpool would have raised the antenna of those in power. He would probably be a great option on that left wing, but we will get into that later. The goals against Brighton and Leeds were impressive to say the least, and he most recently has scored against Burnley and Man United, plus the 2 that he has scored against Fulham. So he is someone who plays well against majority of the opposition. Most recently, Bournemouth have been struggling, no win in their last 7. However, he will continuously be a bright spark for the team, and he's someone that is rated very, very highly. When we look at his shot map for the season, again, operates predominantly on that left wing, can play on the right, but when he gets onto that right foot, dangerous, very, very dangerous. And he's someone who can do a lot of damage when he gets in and around the box. And so I think he would be a brilliant candidate for those top teams, because when he gets there, it's all about his technique. It's all about the hard work and the training that he's put in. Let's take a look at where he's placing his shots. Firstly, the accuracy, 55% is a brilliant mark for someone in his position. That is a number that not many people are hitting in terms of his shot accuracy, and he is a goal scoring winger. When we look through more of his stats, you'll see that his goal scoring is where he truly stands out, but also where he's placing his shots. Firstly, this bottom right hand corner shows someone who has worked on his skill, works on his finishing. It's perfect place. Also, the variety of where he's putting his shots as well. Some are more central, some are in this bottom left hand corner, showing he can finish in a multitude of ways. And this is the kind of player that you want. When you get them there, they're going to be clinical. When you get them there, they're going to make the goalkeeper work, and that is what he does on a regular basis. Left foot, right foot, he can do a little bit of everything. Going into his stats in a little bit more details, one thing to look at is his XG. He's outperforming his X, and I don't think this is something that is alarming. In my opinion, this is something that should be celebrated, because he will continuously outperform his XG because of the ability that he has. His finishing, to me, is one of the best that the Premier League have on the wing. Again, his accuracy is second to none. 38 shots, 21 on target. He is a player who can create. That's not, I would say, his strong suit. He's someone who's looking for goal. He can link up with players pretty well. He is looking for the more dangerous passes in a number of occasions, dribbling as well. I think he is a better dribbler than his numbers show, and I think that's because he's consistently trying to take on players. He's consistently trying to beat players. But what he is very, very good at is the touches that he can get in the opposition box. He is always looking to get as close to the opposition box as possible, so he can unleash the finishing that he works very, very well on. And from a defensive side, he's someone who can contribute across the board. Again, I think he would not be out of place at the likes of a Liverpool, which may expect a little bit more from their wingers, and Arsenal, who expect more from their wingers on the defensive side. Even Man City, he would not be out of place because he works tremendously hard for his team. So when we look a little bit more in depth into his stats, we'll look into the position he normally takes. Again, predominantly on the left wing, and that's where he performs his best. He can play on the right and is effective on the right as well, but predominantly on the left is where you'll see the best of him. When we look at his strengths, aerial duels, again, 6 foot tall, dominant in the air. His finishing, I think, should either be very strong for his position. He's a brilliant finisher, can shoot from long range, brilliant on the free kicks. His dribbling is strong. Everything you would want from a winger. Looking at his play style, likes to cut in. We've spoken about that already. And yeah, does commit fouls, but I don't think that's something that would really concern me from, I don't think that's something that will concern me as someone who's looking to buy Semenyo. He's just a player that's quite aggressive. The weaknesses which have been called out by who scored are holding on to the ball and crossing again. He's someone who likes to take players on. He will lose the ball on occasion, and that's something that you need to be cautious of as a team who likes to probably play more of a possession style. If you're more direct, looking to get at players, you will probably appreciate the willingness to take on players. But again, that can be a turn off for some teams. Now we look into the options of where he could potentially land, and we'll look at Man United first, a team that have been looked at as being potentially someone he would be courted for. Firstly and foremost, I don't think Man United would be a good team for him. One, they would need to change their style of play. He could fit in terms of this um, left attacking mid position potentially, where you're looking at him competing with the likes of Cunha, the likes of Mbeumo, the likes of Mount, Bruno if he was to be played up a little bit higher. I don't know if that's the best fit for him in terms of linking up with all these players. I think he could do a brilliant job, to be honest with you. We'll look at the rest of the squad for Man United and see if there is a clear gap on that left wing. And I think there is, but they don't play that style. It would really take a change of style for them for him to fit in, or they would be relegating someone like Cunha or Mbeumo or Sesko to the bench. And I don't think that is likely to happen. They've already spent quite a lot on attackers in the summer window. And for Semenyo, I wouldn't really see a natural fit for him to be there. We'll take a look at the next option, which is Man City. Again, he would fit in pretty well at Man City. Player who I don't think would be misplaced in terms of his ability, would present a different option for Man City in terms of his pace and power, very direct, would fit in. The only problem I see is that how would he fit into the team? Again, Man City have been playing with two kind of roaming eights. Foden and Cherki on the wings have been very, very impressive, roaming in, coming inside. And then you also have the likes of a Doku, for example, a Savinho. I don't know exactly where he would fit in into this team. We'll look again, but as we mentioned, the Savinho and Oscar Bob, who will come back, he predominantly is on the right wing. Doku, who we've mentioned already, Marmoush again. There are quite a lot of attacking players in the Man City team already. Would he get lost in the pack? Potentially. And for him, I don't know if that's the best place for him to be. Now, the strongest of options, in my opinion, is Liverpool. They are crying out for a player like Semenyo, someone who possesses that physical ability where I think they are slightly lacking. He would fit in nicely on that left wing position. Verts should predominantly be playing in the 10, and I think that's where he will be. Also, when you think about Liverpool at their best, you would see Salah on the right, Semenyo on the left. If Salah does leave, he could again be deployed on the right or be that star winger that they are looking for. And I think this is a squad that is crying out for someone like him. Yes, they have a Gakpo, and he's had a pretty decent season, to be honest, from Gakpo standards. But outside of Gakpo, who isn't an automatic starter, outside of that, they only have the youngster in Rio who could predominantly play on the left wing. I think if I was going anywhere, this would be where I'm looking to play. If I was Semenyo on the left wing, Verts in the 10, Salah on the right wing, and potentially you would be that star winger for Liverpool for years to come if Salah is looking to be leaving at the end of the season. And again, losing Isak may increase the need for someone like him being an attacking player who can add a bit more firepower. Isak's injury looked pretty bad, and we'll see where he does land. But Liverpool is looking like a very, very good option. Plus, combining him with his previous left back that he did play with in Kirkes would be a brilliant option for him. And I really do think that would be a combination that serve very, very well for Bournemouth and will serve very, very well for Liverpool going forward in the future. Now, the last option and probably the least likely option now is Arsenal. And Arsenal is a team that in the summer I was crying out for Semenyo, I was crying out for the likes of Rodgers as well. Pace, power, players who have a bit of a physical element to them. And I thought he would be perfect for Arsenal, replacing the likes of Martinelli, who could have potentially moved on. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Arsenal, who spent quite a bit in the summer to strengthen their squad, aren't in the position to potentially bring in the Semenyo now. He is an Arsenal fan, but I just don't see it happening. You have the likes of Noni Madueke who can play on the left. You have Gabriel Martinelli. You have Tross who's playing the best on the wing from an Arsenal perspective. And it's a struggle to see where they are going to generate the funds without a massive sell. I would see Gabriel Martinelli as being one of the predominant players I would potentially move on. Trossard has been playing really, really well. Martinelli has been fantastic in the Champions League as well, so it might not be the time. And you've also got Eze who can play on the left wing. For me, that's not his best position. I do think he plays best at a 10. But these are things that Arsenal need to think about, and I think they are thinking about it. Reports coming out today that they are interested in Semenyo, but it's more of a summer move, and I don't think he will be waiting for a summer move because his release clause does expire then, and that means Bournemouth can charge whatever they want. £65 million is expiring in January, and this is the right price for Semenyo to me. Bournemouth will probably push for more in the summer after a season that he's having right now, and it's going to be difficult for him not to take this opportunity to move to a bigger team when so many are calling. Arsenal is unlikely. Man United, I don't see the fit. It's between potentially City and Liverpool. Do you want to be in a title race this season? From a Semenyo standpoint, I'll probably say yes, but how much of an impact will he have? And from knowing and seeing him as a player, I think he wants to play more than anything. I think he really, really wants to play. And so, with that in mind, I would probably look at Liverpool as being my biggest option if they are interested. If not, City would be second. If not, I would wait for Arsenal in the summer. And lastly, I'd probably look at Man United because the style of play and the formation probably wouldn't lean best to how he would operate. Guys, this has been my review. Where do you think Semenyo should go? What do you think of him as a player? I want to hear your opinions. I want to see your comments, and I'll make sure to respond. It's been EDA. Peace.